That's a month.
Yeah.
The longest 1 minute ever. It is. I think it's 65 seconds. All right, the time is 6 p.m. and we will call this meeting to order.
Join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we welcome you into this room among all of these people who care about the future of Richwood. We rely on you for the guidance and discernment needed to conduct the business for the betterment of our city. We ask that you remain in our hearts and minds as we welcome differing views and ideas, that you help us to see the big picture so that we may continue the work we have begun to give Richwood a strong and bright future. We thank you for our citizens and for our volunteers. We thank you for blessing this city with staff that care about Richwood and strive to do the best for the city. We thank you for our first responders who risk themselves to keep us safe. We pray these things through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, let the record reflect Mr. Reynolds is absent from our meeting. Chief? Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Okay. No public comments at this time. We're going to go ahead and move the proclamation Val 22 Day, September 13th, 2025, up first and foremost. So beginning with that, I, Michael Durham, Val 22 Day, September 13th, 2025. I, Michael Durham, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Richwood, Texas, do hereby proclaim September 13th, 2025 as Val 22 Day. Whereas September 13th, 2025, Val 22 will be showing support and bringing awareness to veteran suicide, their event in Lake Jackson, our neighboring city, and whereas Val 22 is a group of friends, families, and veterans that have all been affected by post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD in some way, and whereas according to the VA suicide data report in 2012, there was a national average of 22 suicides per day, or 8,000 a year. In response to this alarming statistic, the Val 22 program was founded to raise awareness, provide outreach, and support veterans in crisis, with this name honoring the 22 veterans a day once believed to lost to suicide. And whereas the Department of Veterans Affairs most recent data show that in 2022, an average of 17 veterans died by suicide each day, with a total of 6,407 lives lost that year, reflecting progress that's still a devastating toll. And whereas it is our solemn duty to honor the memory of those lost, support the families left behind, and strengthen resources for all who have served our nation. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Richwood, do hereby proclaim September 13th, 2025 as Val 22 Day in the City of Richwood, Texas. You guys want to come up and get a picture? Who wants to hold this beautiful thing? It's heavy.
It is.
One more? There we go. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
See y'all Saturday.
Yes, on Saturday. See Saturday. You're all invited.
8 a.m.
Lake Jackson's
Civic Center.
8 o'clock.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we're going to move on to CenterPoint, the presentation. A, CenterPoint Energy update on service improvements.
Good evening. I'm Robert Tennant. I'm the Service Area Director for our Brazoria Service Center that basically manages everything in Brazoria County at CenterPoint Services, electric footprint. I also manage our Galveston County area as well, so I've got both of the coastal regions. Very familiar with it. I wanted to give an update on what we've done in the past as far as post-barrel, also where we are today, and then what we're doing future state. So most of y'all know as far as barrels, but a lot of people don't understand as far as what we do prior to a storm, leading up to it. Last year, there was a lot of media coverage that stated that CenterPoint wasn't prepared and things of that nature, but I do remember this vividly because July 3rd is my son's birthday, and July 3rd we were on conference calls leading up to that point. You know, several days prior to a storm, we're constantly preparing. Meteorologists predicted Beryl to come in further south, all the way down to Corpus. Never ever anticipated it coming up to this point. So we were actually on phone calls in preparation for impacts to our southern footprint that affects our gas territories. So leading up to that point, it started shifting further and further north. We started to make those phone calls 3-4 days in advance to see what contractors are available to come in our footprint, and we pulled those triggers and activated contractors to start heading our direction. So day before storm impact, we had contractors that were 3-4 hours outside of our footprint. We truly did have resources available. Beryl impacted us. We had about 1.9 million customers without service, and had restoration done within right at 10 days from Beryl impact. Right after Beryl hit, or after our restoration, we got a lot of scrutiny from the media, from the governor, and so action had to take place. Post-Beryl, we were told that we needed to implement certain things that had to happen immediately. Immediate action had to happen from CenterPoint. So we did over 2,000 miles of vegetation management, trimmed all those lines, replaced over 1,100 poles that are storm resilient, meeting our wind standards, and we installed over 300 automated devices within the first 30 days. So that was done on August 31st. After that, we had another initiative that needed to be done prior to storm season this year. We installed over 25,370 poles to that storm resilient effort. Over 4,800 automated devices that are self-healing. It basically states that, that as it sense a fault, they can trip off and then heal themselves and come back online. We trimmed over 4,000 miles of lines, trimmed trees, removed any vegetation off those lines, and then we roughly installed 417 miles of lines underground. Now, a lot of people say, oh man, you installed all these major lines underground. No, that's actually encompassing our residential areas as well, because in a neighborhood, we don't install a lot of overhead lines in the backyards and things of that nature. We install a lot of underground. So that was all done prior to June 1st. It was actually completed a few weeks early prior to storm season. What else did we do? We did, we changed the way that we are preparing for storm. We're following now FEMA guidelines, just like cities and counties do. And we went through extensive FEMA training. Over 750 employees did this training. We've done over 14 exercises and training activities where cities and counties were invited to attend and observe. We've done 21 generators donated throughout our entire footprint. We had 2 that were donated in Brazoria County, one in the city of Freeport and one at the city of Lake Jackson Civic Center. And then going forward from that point, we're continuing to do those training exercises, making sure that we're prepared as a storm is coming in, monitoring that. We have on-staff meteorologists We have over 100 weather stations installed throughout our entire system. That way we can get real data points across our entire footprint. We can know where wind speeds are and temperatures and things of that nature, because temperatures do affect us as well as far as heat and cold. Going forward, what we're going to be doing, and it's actually starting now, it's not, we initiated it for a 2026 plan to start this, but we're doing our resiliency plan that's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years. Over 50% of our entire infrastructure is going to be underground at that point in time. Residential as well as our major infrastructure. Medical center areas, key crossings where they cross over highways, things of that nature, to eliminate those long crossings. We're already starting that work now. We're going to be installing another 130,000 poles that are going to be storm resilient poles. Poles that have aged and fulfilled their lifespan. We're going to be changing those out to meet those higher wind speeds. And then we changed our vegetation management cycle from a 5-year cycle to a 3-year cycle. So now we're going to be trimming more frequently. Transmission, we're going to be upgrading 2,200 transmission structures that will meet a higher wind speed, as well as they'll be upgrading those facilities to a higher voltage as well. We had a 69 kV system on transmission that we've done away with. Now we're doing 138 and 345, which will be able to handle the growth that's coming into our Houston footprint. And then all of our substations, we're going to make sure that all of them meet the 500-year floodplain as well. We had some in the years past that have actually flooded, and we've had to do temporary generators at those substations and actually build substations in a parking lot. We did it in a church parking lot during Hurricane Harvey. So we're going to make sure all of our substations meet that 500-year floodplain. So system-wide, that's what we're doing. How does that affect City of Richwood? And it's happening here too. 3 poles down is one of the smart devices that recloses automatically. It'll open and close off of a fault. After 2 faults, if the fault still senses, it will open up. You know, and it's one of those things that's protecting whatever is downstream of it. But if it's a squirrel, because that's, you know, everybody hears from time to time, a squirrel took my power out. You never saw the squirrel, but it actually did. And but if a squirrel was to actually, you know, cross and jump between wires to wire and it, you know, connected that current there, it will trip off because a fault is there. But that device will trip back on after 30 seconds, and if that fault is cleared, power comes back and restored. So the automated devices are out there, that they're there to eliminate that truck having to come all the way back down here and actually close that fuse in. We'll be doing additional major switches as well. There are several of them up and down 288B, so you'll see them out there. They're larger devices that are on our poles. And those are actually to isolate faults on the main system, to eliminate having a larger customer base out at one point in time. So they isolate it down to where the fault actually is. And like I said, we'll be putting a lot more of those online throughout the next 3 to 5 years. I'll open it up to questions. Oh, and one other thing. All circuits that are in our footprint are looked at for load growth. So our planning department, on a daily basis, they're getting requests as new growth comes in, new development, commercial business, whatever the case may be. They're sent these plans and saying, hey, this new load's coming in this area. Will our infrastructure handle that new load? They evaluate it and say yes or no. If there's additional work that needs to be done, it is done at the time of that new load growth. They also look at a 5-year and a 10-year cycle as far as looking at that load and seeing where our circuits are at that point in time. Do I need a redundant feed? Do I need to do a circuit tie just in case of a backup? Things of that nature. So that's constant that happens throughout our system on a daily basis. All the substations in this area have already been evaluated over the last 5 years. So as you do see new developments, large growth, things of the center point footprint, please make us aware. I can get our planning department involved and we can evaluate and see if that circuit or the circuits that are in that area can handle the load growth. Because it does take a lot of work to upgrade infrastructure, survey, making sure that we have easements, proper easements, all that is needing to be taken into consideration whenever we do have large growth that comes in the area. So subdivisions, we'd love to know about them.
I don't think we have any at this current time
Okay.
in growth. I'm sure we have some questions.
Yeah. So,
We can start with Paul, go our way down. You have any questions?
I don't have
Mr.
a
Wright?
question, but thank y'all for what
Yes.
y'all do. I don't care about all the bad press and publicity because I saw the waves of y'all and the contractors.
good. Appreciate that.
You know, based out over there by the port and that huge parking lot
Yeah.
at the fairgrounds. So yeah, thank y'all for what y'all do.
Appreciate it.
Are y'all creating any new circuits so that when we do have something, an outage on one of the legs, it doesn't take out as much area?
So that's what the intelligent devices are, and then we have switches that can isolate faults too that we can manually do. So like if a power goes out for one circuit, say a circuit has 1,800 customers on it, we can actually minimize that fault down to say 300 or 400 customers where the impact is.
Yeah.
It maybe even shrink it even further to where we can isolate it down to a single customer. We've done that in the past too. So it just depends on how the makeup of the circuit is and where the fault actually is as well. So we try and minimize, and that's why we add those switches periodically. We try to do it to where we can minimize the impact wherever it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Yerson, you have any questions? Mr. Robert?
Second what Paul said, I do appreciate everything y'all done. My only question is when a storm comes through like that, I get it, there's a lot of stuff that's got to be repaired, fixed, so on and so forth. People are told to call in if you have something, an issue, something like that. What do y'all do about addressing that when those calls go unanswered or unfixed?
So I'll talk a little bit about that.
I mean, give you an example, like poles leaning over, that weren't leaning before the storm.
Right.
I can tell you to this day, there's still poles that people gripe about that have leaned over, and they've leaned over more. And, I mean, I know for a fact, they were called on, but they've never been touched. I mean,
Yeah, understood. So there's a couple of ways that we can mitigate some of that. So I know one of the things that was the biggest fault of CenterPoint was our outage notification, right? We couldn't figure out where our power outages were, what the time of restoration was. So we have a new system. It's our outage tracker. It's cloud-based, and so it doesn't bog down whenever you have a massive deployment. Also on that same outage tracker, there's a way to report hazards, and there's a way to report your outage right there on the outage tracker itself. So on the hazard, it is required to take a photo of something to address any hazards. So if it's a leaning pole right now, please do, by all means, let me know about it anyways. I mean, because we're right here, right, talking about it, and I want to make sure any issues that you address are addressed by me. But in a storm event, to communicate to your customers, to your residents, to whoever, if you want, I can send you the script of it. It's, like I said, it's CenterPoint Energy /outage tracker. You can actually go on there and you can see it, and y'all can report out to your public on your Facebook, whatever, and you can say, this is how to report a hazard through CenterPoint. And there's people that monitor it. The thing is, though, is they have to put their contact information, phone number, email address, the location of it, and then a picture of what the hazard is itself. That way we know it's a valid concern. And we can identify, is it actually CenterPoint equipment, or is it customer-owned equipment, or is it telecommunications, or whatever the case may be. Someone's going to evaluate it, they'll respond and let them know, hey, we'll take care of this, or no, we need to contact so-and-so to do this, or it's customer-owned, whatever it is. But yes, and it's, like I said, if there's still valid concerns that you know of, please let me know where they're at, and we'll get somebody by to address them.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy?
Again, just thank you for all that y'all do. I know it's tough. And in regards to cutting on the vegetation, I know I've seen them up and down the highway. Does that apply to residential areas? So are they like going into the homes and where the lines run? Or
So it's just where our lines are, yes. So around our lines, we will trim everything around our lines. We'll trim to a certain extent, though. We can only go as far as our easement is. So we can't go outside of that. Now, along the road right-of-way, where our poles fall within the road right-of-way, we can only go 7 foot onto private property. We don't have an actual easement, but we have an agreement that we can go 7 foot from our lines. And that's what basically is considered a safe trim. And at that point, outside of that, it's the customer's responsibility.
Okay. So if it's I guess, a tree in their backyard or something like that, then the customer's responsible for the trimming of
Yes,
that. They-
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's qualified people that can go up there and trim those. A lot of times they just feel like it's too expensive or whatever the case may be. I can do it myself. I mean, we just encourage them to hire someone who's qualified to do it.
Yeah, because I'd always heard, like, you call Centerpoint and they'll come fix it, but I didn't know how far.
Yeah, we're only allowed to go so far, but I mean, that was one of the things that we talked to the governor about, is like, we're only bound by our easement. We can't go outside of that because it's private owned trees. Yeah. Now, there are things out there that we'll do as far as, they call them hazard trees. And we've found this a lot whenever pine bark beetles take over a pine tree and it's, 20 foot away from our lines, and you can see it's already got a lean to it. We call that a hazard tree. And what we'll do is we'll trim it down to a safe point below our lines to where if it was to fall, it won't impact our lines. But one thing is about a hazard tree is we cut it and we leave it. We don't take it with us. And it's the customer's responsibility. A lot of times the customers don't like that fact because we leave the debris behind, but ultimately we're not a tree service, we're a power supplier, so. Same thing during a storm event. I want to touch on this too because a lot of confusion from a customer standpoint. During an actual storm event or weather event, even like if a weather event was to come through tonight and the trees actually impacted the lines, we cut those tree limbs and we leave them there. On our proactive trims, whenever we actually go out there proactively and trim it, we take the debris with us. So that's the kind of a discrepancy that people just don't understand. Why did they cut my tree down and they left all the debris here? So during a storm event, we're not a tree service.
And along that same lines, if the pole is along the street, you fix the power to the pole, but if that line runs to the house, that's the owner.
The overhead line is ours. If it goes underground, it's theirs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things also is anything that's overhead that goes to the house, that is center points.
To the
Anything
meter,
that goes
right?
underground is the customer's. Yeah, and we'll repair all that. Now, if the weatherhead is pulled away from the house, then we'll cut it loose.
Yeah.
It is, they have to hire an electrician to get it repaired, and then we'll come back and reconnect.
Gotcha.
Okay. Eric, you want to?
Yeah, I would just like to say, somebody who is on those calls with the county pre, during, and post, I do appreciate your input, and y'all were there every day. And y'all handled a lot of problems right then and there, so I would like to say thank you for being proactive and being a part of that, because some power companies weren't on the calls,
Right.
and we know, so.
And I'll just say this, during an actual event, we'll be talking to you pre-storm, during the storm, after the storm.
Yeah.
Daily calls go out to the mayor and the city. I think you're on there as well as far as the daily call. It's a recorded call. You can put in questions ahead of time, but we'll also be available as well. Myself, Brian Davenport, I think you have his contact information as well. He's my service area manager, but if you don't have it, let me know. We'll get y'all contact information. We're transparent during an event. We'll let you know if you have critical infrastructure that needs to have power or it's a safety concern. We do have resources that we can kind of shift if we have to. We can let you know a little bit better time frame as far as local for critical infrastructure. Now, if your mom's house is out of power, tell her to come on over.
Is that what you had? Thank you, Eric. Robert, I want to reiterate thank you for what CenterPoint has done for our community. I do have a few questions for you. You talked about those stations that y'all had put up to monitor weather.
Yes, sir.
I've seen several of them around our area.
Mhm.
I know they're new within the last 6 months. Does the public have access to those?
There is a link, and I can send it to you. You can put it
I'd
on
love that.
You can put it on your Facebook.
Okay.
That way you can
Okay.
provide it to the customers.
My first question. The second question, you mentioned you're going from 5 to 3 years, right, on trimming? Is that going to be added cost down the line to end users?
No. Unfortunately for CenterPoint, we're a business, but unfortunately it's a maintenance item, so we have to absorb that cost.
Okay. People will be glad to hear that. And I know it's been a concern to citizens of Richwood, mainly the older part of Richwood. When it gets windy, their power goes out, and it's a non-weather event. Is that going to improve for them as well?
Possibly. It's one of those things, another time, that's when vegetation impacts us, right? If a tree is still 2 foot away, but the wind starts blowing, it blows the tree into the lines.
Okay.
So it's one of those things, like, it's not affecting it during a regular day, but on a wind event, you start getting lines that move, and you start getting the trees that move, and unfortunately, that does impact customers. But, same time frame, if it's a reoccurring thing, maybe it's something we do need to address, and make us aware of it.
Okay.
And we'll do what we can to inspect it, see if there's any underlying causes that might not be a tree issue or whatever the case may be.
I mean, you wouldn't believe on Facebook, they have power for Facebook, they don't have power at their house, so
Yeah.
I want to see if we can get that solved for everybody. That's all I have, and again, thank you
Yeah.
for what you guys do.
One of our end goals is by 2030, we want to make it to where customers aren't impacted by a power outage more than 4 times a year.
Okay.
So, and I think that, people should understand Mother Nature is taking, it has an impact.
Yes.
But, and I know that power is one of those necessities nowadays, and that's what we're trying to strive to do. It won't happen overnight. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to make that goal a reality, but I think it's very much achievable, so,
You're working in the right direction.
yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'll turn around here and I'll answer a question or two from the audience too, if y'all have any.
They answered all of the questions.
Thank you.
I don't think those 4 outages a year doesn't cover paying your bill.
A lot of poles.
Yes, sir.
Is that because the poles are aging, or is it because the wind is stronger?
More of it on the age side of it than anything.
I'm just curious.
But we are evaluating the poles that were installed. Most of our poles actually still probably could hold up to we set a standard of 132 miles an hour on the coastal region. So as long as it meets the 132 mile an hour winds, we're not replacing those poles unless they are aged. And we are doing fiberglass and wood poles, and we also have ductile iron poles. Ductile iron poles are more for structural reasons. Fiberglass poles are better quality for the coastal region because they don't have the decay issues, or they actually are able to flex more than a wood pole is. Wood pole potentially could snap depending on the wind structure or wind speed. Fiberglass poles, what we found, especially Surfside, if anybody's familiar with Blue Water Highway, if you drive down it, it's almost 90% fiberglass poles. None of those poles actually went over during Beryl. And so we did have a few lines that came off of them, but that was easy to restore. If we were to go out there and restore a pole, it'd take us about 3/4 of a day. But to just put lines back on, it was about a half day. So it's one of those things that's a quicker restoration process as well. So we're trying to implement as much fiberglass as we possibly can. The only thing about those are about 4 to 5 times the cost of those poles. So it's one of those things we just got to be savvy on when you're doing it and making the right decisions. All right.
Those are standing just as good as those wood poles? I watched you put
Yeah.
all those in.
Yeah, the wood poles, the only thing about a wood pole is we have to put a beefier wood pole up there to withstand the same as with that fiberglass.
For height-wise, or just
Just
everything?
girth-wise. Height-wise, we're doing it based off of what the infrastructure around there is and what's necessary. So you may see some 50-foot poles and you may see some 60-foot poles depending on what's out there in the infrastructure.
I appreciate y'all switching to fiberglass. You almost put me out of business. But no, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Robert, you have a good evening, sir.
Y'all see you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to B, Streets Master Plan by Strand Engineering.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a presentation to go along with the tech memo that's going to be part of the Streets Master Plan. My name is Jeremy Hookey with Strand Associates, and tonight I'll be giving a presentation titled Roadway Master Plan Provides a Strategic Approach to Maintaining City Streets. Just a quick agenda. First, we'll look at the existing pavement condition of all the city streets. We'll look at the value of preservative maintenance. Discuss the existing and future funding sources, and then wrap up with construction and maintenance alternatives. So, one important thing when you start a study is to understand what your starting point is. So, understanding the existing pavement condition provides insight to existing and future needs. So earlier this year in February, we performed a review of all the city streets. We used the Pavement Surface Evaluation Rating, also known as PACER system, and it provides an objective method for rating streets, both asphalt and concrete. One benefit to this rating is non-destructive, so you're not punching holes in the pavement and creating additional areas where water can infiltrate. The rating system assigns a rating of 1 to 10 to a particular street or a street segment, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. So a street that's rated a 1 essentially has failed. There's basically nothing left. A 10 would be a brand new street. We further subdivide those into 3 categories, a 1 to 4, and that's failed or it's beginning to fail. And those are, once it gets to that point, it's very difficult to cost effectively do preventative maintenance. We're maintaining a lot. 5 to 7, rating and maintenance is really encouraged, and that's the prime area where you want to address maintenance needs. And then 8 to 10 are new or like new streets. So as I said, this can be done on concrete or asphalt streets. And the manual goes through, there's several different criteria depending on what the rating is. So if you see a street that'll have, say, 25% of longitudinal cracking or 10% alligator cracking on the street, that gets associated to a certain rating. So it's really a nice tool and a good way to compare different street segments to see which ones are good and which ones need some assistance. Roadway maintenance improves pavement condition and economically extends the service life. So different approaches to asphalt street maintenance include crack sealing and seal coating, or a combination of both of those. And then you can also overlay that in asphalt street, essentially just putting a layer of asphalt on top of the existing layer. For concrete pavement, similarly, you can do crack sealing. Joint sealing is very important with concrete pavement. When you construct a concrete street, you'll have both expansion joints, those are a little larger ones, and then you'll have the sod joints, or the construction joints. And it's important that those get sealed up at the end of the project, and that typically is the case. However, as you can imagine, over time, that joint sealant works its way out, and so it's important also to continually reseal those joints so you prevent water from getting in and deteriorating the subgrade. Most cost-effective maintenance is done on pavements with a PACER of 5 or greater. Once it gets into that 4, 3, 2 range, it's very difficult to preserve the pavement, and oftentimes it gets very expensive. Approximately 51% of the city streets have a PACER rating of 5 through 7, and that's both for asphalt and concrete. And 76% of the 51% are asphalt streets. So what you've got with the graph there on the right is the asphalt streets along the bottom in the blue, and then the concrete streets in the green. The rating is along the horizontal axis with the percent of the street length on the vertical axis. Then as far as your asphalt pavement, it does follow a pretty nice bell curve where you have majority centered in the middle, and like I said before, that's the location where maintenance is very important and very cost effective. Proactive maintenance reduces life cycle costs. What you've got here is a figure from the National Center for Pavement Preservation. And it studied pavement for historically, pavement will deteriorate over time, as can be expected. But say for a pavement, like an asphalt pavement that typically has a 20-year life, what's found is that the first 40% drop in quality of that pavement happens over the first 75% of the life. So generally a pretty long time. However, once you get to the kind of that midpoint on the curve there, that next 40%, where it starts to get into the really poor condition range, that happens much more rapidly in over a 12% of the life. And intuitively, it makes sense with pavement. As it cracks open, water gets in. That water starts to destroy the aggregate and the subbase under that, which creates more cracks in the surface, letting more water in. And so it's just kind of a cycle that can snowball upon itself. What's found is that spending the equivalent of $1 on preventative maintenance in that upper range can save and prevent you from needing to spend 6 to 14 times that amount to rehabilitate the pavement or actually reconstruct it. Preventative maintenance program extends service life. So this. Go to the next.
Tall squirrel.
Again, very similar graph here, especially with the red, showing the age of the pavement along the horizontal axis and then the pavement condition along the vertical axis. Same 40% drop, same 75% of the life, second 40%, 12% of the life. What this graph also shows, though, is the introduction of preventative maintenance and the effect that can have on keeping that pavement in that upper range. And that's demonstrated with the black part of the graph where around year 5, in this case, some maintenance was performed. There's a slight bump in the quality of the pavement, and as you can expect, over time that deteriorates. Not as rapidly as it would have had no maintenance been done, but then you do some maintenance and there's another bump and so on and so forth. In short, with this graph, keeping the pavement in the area on top is where the resurfacing or rehabilitation costs are relatively low, and you can greatly enhance the ride quality and accelerate and keep the pavement from accelerating, the deterioration accelerating. Excuse me. Current funding insufficient for future maintenance and construction needs. So currently the street construction and maintenance program is funded from 3 different sources. There's local funding, grant funding, and bonds. So the local funding, approximately $160,000 per year is allocated towards maintenance and construction needs, and that comes directly from property taxes. Another $165,000 comes via the transportation funds, so total that's $325,000 coming from local funds. There's grant funding as well. The current project on Briar Creek, Four Oaks, and Quail Run is a grant-funded project from Hurricane Harvey. So obviously it's been a long time since that happened. Grant funds are infrequent. They're unreliable. It's not a good source to plan from. Additionally, a lot of times with grants, there's strings attached. Even if you have an area where you want to make improvements and direct funds in that area, the grant may stipulate you can't actually do the work in that area just due to the conditions. Lastly, bonds. The last general obligation bond was passed in 2019 in the amount of $5 million. It's my understanding those funds have been used. $3 million of that was for streets, $1.5 million for drainage, and $500,000 for sidewalks. Another potential funding increase would be from property tax or tax-based growth and/or increased home prices. However, that's not anticipated to keep up with the cost of inflation, so that's not a real reliable funding source either. Current maintenance and rehabilitation methods utilize a majority of allocated funds. Currently, the maintenance performed by the city includes crack sealing, and the city is able to perform about 14 lane miles of crack sealing per year with their $25,000 annual budget. Additionally, there's a rehabilitation option, and that's performed by Brazoria County. Unfortunately, it's only for asphalt streets, so they don't get into the concrete areas. However, the county can do the work for about 1/3 of the cost that it would be to hire a contractor to do it, and that cost is around $80,000 per lane mile. The county currently does limit cities within the county to 4 lane miles per year, so that's something to consider. Doing some quick math with the $80,000 per mile and 4 lane miles per year, that would be $320,000 per year to kind of maximize that discount that the county is offering. In addition to the $25,000 for maintenance, that equals $345,000. And as previously on a previous slide, the city is currently allocating about $325,000. So there's a little bit of a delta there. And with the work that the county does, they currently, what they'll do is they'll come in and take off a certain thickness of asphalt and then replace it with that same amount. It's a little bit different than what they did in the Oakwood Shores area where they did more of a reconstruct. But that even taking that surface and freshening it up can add significant life to the pavement and help keep that base and subgrade underneath viable for a longer period of time. Discussions of the city, here's put together a crack sealing schedule. This shows 2026 potential streets, and what we did was identify, there's a lot of information here, but basically identified the streets that are five or six, and to try to keep them at a 5 or 6 and not let them drop into a lower rating. The 2026 potential would include about 26,000 linear feet of crack sealing. That's along the center line of the road, not necessarily the length of crack sealing. And contractor cost would be around $63,000 for that work in today's dollars. Going on to 2027, similarly, we looked at what's currently a 7 or an 8, and perform maintenance there as well. You will see several ratings that are a 5, and that's looking at those same streets that were done in 2026 to hit some of them again. It's really anticipated once they get into that 5 level, the cracks really start to perpetuate, and just because you hit it 1 year doesn't mean you can ignore it for another 2 or 3 years. And then lastly, 2028 potential schedule for that. Potential maintenance and reconstructive alternatives have historically been grant funded. So this would apply to contractor performed work. So maintenance, the city has previously had could have the contractor perform a seal coating, and that's better for roads or streets that have been crack sealed already, really shores up those fine hairline cracks in pavement. Asphalt overlay is an option, and that can be done on asphalt streets or a concrete street. Spot repairs, while it can be done, spot repairs can be done on asphalt, they typically are better applicable to concrete, just from a small area and compaction with the asphalt standpoint. Other things contractors have done through grant and bond funds is reconstruction, currently in pavement section. Heavy duty asphalt, $875,000 per lane mile. Light duty asphalt, $500,000 per lane mile. And the light duty would be more of your just residential streets that don't experience a whole lot of traffic. Where heavy duty asphalts are some of your larger asphalt streets, but they kind of connect a lot of areas, so heavier traffic. Despite the negative on the cost, the one thing that the reconstruct does offer is that it offers the ability to address the underground infrastructure before that's taken care of. That's on full display again at the Briar Creek, Four Oaks, and Quail Run project, where a lot of that water main that's under the street was replaced as well. City street conditions significantly improved in the last 5 years due to influx of grant and bond funding and engaging the county. So we had performed a PACER rating back in 2018, and again performed another one 7 years later. So particularly in this slide, look at the Oakwood Shores area. And back in 2018 on the left, there's quite a bit of red. And those were road segments that had failed. And anybody that drove on those roads around that time knows exactly what I'm talking about. The city engaged the county, and the county reconstructed several of those roads. And what you see today on the right, a lot of green, which is 5, 6 or better. So some significant improvements have occurred in that area. Going to the next slide, we'll look at the more of the central part of the city. Again, the 2018 pavement assessment is on the left, the 2025 is on the right. The Quail Oaks, Briar Creek, Four Oaks, and Quail Run neighborhood in 2018 was in the darker green, which is a 4 or 5. That's being improved, obviously, with this project, so that's a good sign there. That's bond funding, or grant funding, excuse me. What you also see, though, in the kind of the central part of the city there is a little more color on the left. And that color, the red, or sorry, the yellow is a rating of 3, and the orange is a rating of a 2. So several of those streets have gone from fairly decent condition in 2018, and in just 7 years have gotten to where they're not as good a condition. You also see some of the two streets in blue, San Saba and Success in 18, were poor condition, and those were included in that bond project. So those got addressed, and now are showing up on the other side. In addition, the county has recently did their maintenance on 2 streets, Halbert and Schley, and so those are much better condition now than they were back in 2018. So to wrap up, adequate funding of construction and maintenance projects improves quality of roadways and protects the city's previous investments. Regular maintenance is the city's best tool to stay ahead of rapid failure. Maintaining a high road quality rating reduces the overall expenditure as it extends the pavement service life and maximizes the original investment made. And so with that, I'll open it up to any questions, comments.
Delmer, do you have any comments on this, questions? Johnson?
No, that's good, thank you.
Yes. Mr. Yerson? Mr. Fountain?
No, pretty good. Good information.
It's just not a sexy topic.
Yeah,
Not like I said,
It's a lot to digest.
no, we appreciate your studies.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. A, budget report July 2025. B, approval of minutes from regular meeting held August 11th, 2025. And C, approval of minutes from special meeting held August 19th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the motion carries. Okay, moving on. We are going to open public comments on public hearing on proposed budget 2025-2026 budget. Anybody that wishes to speak may come up to the podium and address council. You do have 3 minutes to do so. If not, then we will carry on. This is the last call for any comments from public on this issue. Please come up to the podium, can you?
Budget. Is it posted somewhere on the city website that we can take a look at?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It should be under the transparency tab, I believe. You're right. You should.
That or the document center also. There's a document center that has each of the years of the budget.
Yeah.
Any further comments? Okay, we're going to move on to public hearing on proposed 2025-2026 tax rates. Each and everyone has 3 minutes to discuss anything they wish to address to council.
So to say that I'd like
Come up to the,
tax rate to stay the same.
Podium.
please come up to the podium, Mr. Challenger.
Thank you guys for, I did review your budget. I don't have a magic wand for you. I understand it's a broken system. But it's just some point where we can't afford it. You know? I understand. It's a lot of money, a lot of things that we gotta address, and you guys want to take care of everybody, but Simply put, we just can't afford it. I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and she's working 2 jobs. She lives in Richwood. She's a teacher in the day and manages a restaurant at night. She has 4 kids, and she's doing everything that she can to make ends meet. You know, and when you got the water bill going up, you know, the enterprise fund stuff going up, taxes going up, it's got to stop somewhere. If not now, when? So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Anybody else wish to make a comment? Okay. We're going to move on to taxpayer impact statement.
No, that's just a legal notice.
Okay.
You can go to discussion and action.
Okay, then we're going to move on to discussion and action item.
Just move items.
So we have a presence from the county here. We're going to go ahead and move him up to A, which is consider approval of resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement with Brazoria County, Angleton Drainage District, Velasco Drainage District, City of Lake Jackson, City of Clute, Town of Holiday Lakes, and Village of Bailey's Prairie for debris removal from Oyster Creek and Bastrop Bayou as part of the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service EWP project number 5118 and DSR 48-14-24-5118-002.
I made that long enough.
Thank you for coming, YL.
Of course.
Can you make that number any longer?
No, it came actually from NRCS.
Okay. And what was your name?
So, good evening, everyone. My name is YL Tabaro. I'm the Assistant County Engineer for Brazoria County.
Good to meet you.
Likewise. I'm happy that the City Interlocal program is working well with you guys. That was music to my ears. So, I believe you have a presentation. Would you like me to go through it?
I don't have it.
Oh.
Oh, was it on that packet?
Yeah, it's in the
Okay.
packet.
Give me 2 seconds.
No problem. So let me, while you're doing that, thank you, kind of give you a little bit of timeline how we got here. So Beryl touchdown July 2024. I lead the program for the debris removal with the county. We got a lot of vegetative, a lot of trees in the waterways for Oyster Creek and Bass Road. Fast forward, we submitted to FEMA. FEMA told us, hey, NRCS usually support similar funding. We had a site inspection October 2024 where we went and checked a couple of places along Oyster Creek and Bass Road Bayou. 4 months later, after, so February of 2025, we got approval from NRCS. We just got the agreement executed on our Commissioner's Court in July of this year. And basically the fund is 75%, 25% split. So some of the numbers, so NRCS will provide only 4.2 million. So if you don't mind going up a little bit, just to give you an idea. Okay, so if you look a little more, perfect. So the way we did it, so Oyster Creek, almost 42 miles, heading north to south, and then Bastrop Bayou, right there as number 1. So we divided Oyster Creek into sections, A to P, and Bastrop only one section. The criteria we did is not only the county or the city, but also the drainage district. So if you go to the second, thank you. So it will show you where we have Angleton Drainage District, Velasco Drainage District, and Brazoria County in blue. So we're getting 5.4 million in total, 4.2 from NRCS for construction and design, and 1.2 the county will pay, right? On top of the design, so we have right now a proposal from Tetra Tech in the amount of $800,000. Out of this $800,000, NRCS will fund only $383,000, and the rest, $417,000, will be distributed per all the stakeholders. So for Richwood, which matters today, if you scroll down, I'm sorry. I could have got you better numbers. But, so if you see the highlighted part, that's the 417 I was talking about, which is basically 800 minus the 383. So for Richwood, if you go down, In blue is the design, in red is construction, and we have it all for all 7 stakeholders. So, for instance, U is gonna be RI, so that's what you're gonna pay. Exactly right. Thank you. On Oyster Creek for design, and then for construction is gonna be 18,000. You got it. So for Oyster Creek, the total contribution that we're seeking from Richwood will be 24,717. And then for Bastrop, if you scroll down, sorry, the design will be, oh, sorry, no, at the same, sorry, at the same table. I apologize, I would have gave you a better presentation, find you out and present. For Bastrop is gonna be another $37,000. So the total is 62 and a change, 62,102. And please bear in mind, this is an estimate. Actuals may come less than that, which we're hoping for, so obviously your contribution is gonna change. So in the interlocal agreement that we sent you a draft of, there's a verbiage that said final accounting will happen at the end of this project. So this is not a final number, but this is just a start.
You have a definition of your design that you're talking about, it's gonna cost 62,000?
No, so 62 include design and construction.
Okay.
So 62 is the total
Okay.
contribution from Richwood.
Total project cost.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your help.
I just wanted to clarify.
No,
Keep
absolutely.
hearing design, and I'm like,
no.
I'll draw with you.
So-
Well, the one question that we have from staff is, if VDD by chance backs out or doesn't agree to participate, that's a large majority of our contribution on the other side of the river comes into play. Would the county pick up that tab, or would we pay?
You won't pick up that tab. We will. I'm not making, obviously any obligation for us now,
Sure.
but the communication with VDD is happening. So far, we're getting positive feedback, and I hope the same with the Clue.
Okay.
But the plan is to move on with this project, because we're not gonna lose 4.2 million for it. Just waiting for
Sure.
60 grand here or 50 grand.
Sure.
I'm being honest with you. So currently, just to give you an idea, the proposal from Tetra Tech is approved by NRCS. We're planning to put it either on the next court, Commissioner's Court, on 9/23, or the one after in October. Start design after that.
Okay.
Because we have a deadline of December 2026 to be done with this project.
Okay.
I know it's a lot, but and I hope if you go through it, it all makes sense, the math. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You will be obviously invited to the design kickoff, and if you like, you'll be included in every major milestone with this project.
I'll talk to you guys some more about this when
No
it's
problem.
set in stone. Anybody have any questions? Nothing from council?
Are we having like to approve all this today, or is just,
Yep.
I mean, at this time, it's an action item.
yeah?
Trying to get to the resolution, in case anyone wants to take action.
Where does this fall in our, is this in 2026 or?
We had it in 2025, and it will carry to 2026.
We currently have it in the 2026 budget in the transportation fund under drainage.
Okay.
So the funds are allocated already then? It's not,
Once you approve the budget.
So does this need a motion?
yeah.
Approve the resolution. You don't have to say that.
Do what?
You say you don't have to say that whole thing, just approve a resolution authorizing city manager
Do we think, like,
to execute the interlocal agreement.
you mentioned, that obviously it's not a final number, it could go down, but it could go up as well?
It depends on actual construction, yeah. At this time, we have 4.2 million for construction. We hope it's not gonna go more than that.
I don't see it going more than that. No way.
The thing that helps us the most on this project is the exact duplication of the
Previous.
bayou cleanup that had been done previously. So it's basically a cut and paste.
And the overall reason for it is to obviously improve the drainage to
Correct.
avoid any back flooding like we had in Harvey, I would.
Get the water out of here quicker.
Absolutely. Plus, we got a lot of calls from residents that live along it, so it's a safety issue. We need to act as soon as possible.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-R-102, authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement with the Brazoria County, Angleton Drainage District, Velasco Drainage District, City of Lake Jackson, City of Clute, Town of Holiday Lakes, and Village of Bailey's Prairie for debris removal from Oyster Creek and Bastrop Bayou, providing for an effective,
You have to say that part.
okay.
Do the number, come on, do the number.
I don't want to give you that one.
I'll second.
It's still long.
What are you seconding? The whole thing?
Yes, I'm not reading that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect the motion carries.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you,
y'all.
Mr. Wong.
Thanks, Lyle.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Have a good evening.
Okay, we're gonna move back to A now. Discuss and consider adopting ordinance 25-532, an ordinance appropriating adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Fine with me. Here's the budget, pass it. You should all have a paper copy in front of you, and it was also included in your package, the proposed budget for the 2025-2026 budget year. As you know, we started back in March with staff working on this. We've had workshops in June, July, and August. So with all of the comments and concerns and decisions that were brought during those meetings, this is the final product. And I would just ask that you approve it as presented. Staff has strived to keep costs as low as possible to maintain the city operations. And we would like to see this budget passed. I'm willing to answer any questions.
Nothing has changed since our last meeting in regards to your budget?
No, the only things that changed, if you'll remember at our last meeting, I didn't have the final ambulance cost, and I didn't have our final insurance cost. Insurance went up less than 4%, 3 point something, and ambulance did go up slightly, and so those were incorporated in. As requested, well, we aren't talking about tax rate yet, but you'll see we have $100,000 bottom line in the general fund.
Where's that at, please?
Let's see. General fund is several pages, so if you go back. To the 10th page of the packet. And your packet includes all of the funds that we use for operating of the city. It doesn't include the funds for reserves, but there are transfers into reserves as we budgeted every year for the last 5 years. The line, Mike, says total change in fund balance. The last line on the page.
I see 182.
All at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Am I going too far?
Trying to find a page with 182 on it, tell you where you are.
Very
I got
bottom right.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So what rate did you have to come up with to get to that?
0.535799. or no, yes.
The top one.
That's the current one, 557,993.
What's the percent change from the one to the other?
It is a 4.14% change. It's just under the voter approval rate that for 3.5% increase on existing properties. So the difference between the 4.14 and the 3.5 would be new properties, but it's slightly below that. No, not much, but slightly. So right now, when you're approving the budget, the revenue figures are there for guidance, but we're approving the expenditures. Some of our expenditures, a lot of our expenditures are out of our control and have seen major increases, like insurance, and the ambulance fee, different things that have gone up that we talked about last meeting. We do have a 4% COLA increase for wages, which brings us, in the last 5 years, Social Security COLAs have equaled 26%. Right now, the last 5 years, ours is at 23%, so we're still slightly behind Social Security's guidance. And then we also have merit increases every other year.
Did you say it's 4.1%?
4.14.
I'm gonna correct the ordinance, we have it at 0.41.
Oh, well,
So I'm gonna correct that real quick.
if you round, it'd be 0.41, because you wouldn't round up.
No, it's 0.41%, like less than 1%.
Oh,
I'm gonna correct it.
okay.
Wishful thinking.
It's just the decimal in the wrong place.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, decimals make up.
Your motion is, yes.
Darn those dots.
As long as your motion's correct.
Yeah.
I just want to give you the language when it gets to that point. It's got to be specific.
So is there any other questions?
What was the impact of BWA?
I have some notes to myself here.
That was an enterprise, right? That was,
Find what I wrote.
I remember like 9, 10.
So we've seen, so BWA covers about 50% of our water that we supply to customers. And we saw, not what I want. It's 410,000 this year. And last year it was 395, so it's gone up 15,000 this year. I can't do that percentage in my head. Since the first year shown on your budget document, which is 22, BWA has gone up 18.5%.
Yeah.
But again, that's just one cost in our water operation to provide that water to our customers.
You have that graphic you did at the, I was looking for that graphic that we did at the workshop.
From last meeting?
Yeah.
I can pull it up. 1 minute.
And you'll notice on the public works, or the enterprise fund, the capital improvements that total 77,000, of which 45,000 is under sewer and 132,000 is under water, are still shown there. But then we have transfers in to cover half of those, of that 177,000 we're transferring in from general fund balance, and then half is coming in from our utility capital improvement fund. So that did not have to be, those expenses did not have to be used to calculate the rates. So we were able to, which were approved last month, or last meeting, the rates increased 8% for water, or 8.5% for water and 2.75% for sewer, which if those would have been left in, we would have had to increase 19% and 8.5%, so.
Which graphic are you talking about, Jen? I have a few.
I just want to make sure, like what Mike was saying, I remember when we did the budget, we said to make it so as long as we don't go above the 3.5, right?
We're just below that, and we're.
That's talking tax rate, we're not
Yeah.
on that yet.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
I can show you that graphic, but
No.
the next item,
So we're just approving the expenditures right now in the budget.
just the spending.
And if you look at this cover sheet, Jeremy,
Yeah.
the
That's-
voter approval rate is the 3.5% rate.
I will pull that up when
Oh.
we get there, I have it here.
So we're at
Okay.
.557,993 and it was .565,874. Not that we're talking tax rate yet.
We're just legally required to discuss the spending before we discuss
Yeah.
tax rate.
I had originally included a 10% increase on all of the building and property insurance, and it came in under 4, so that was a savings for us. So that was good, but then ambulance, which we pay to Clute, under fire. I have glasses on my shirt, maybe I should put them on my eyes. It went from 160,000 this year to 177,569. So so those two items, the insurance and the ambulance, were what I was waiting on before I could finalize it. And
And what was the ambulance one again?
it went from 160,000 in this current fiscal year to 177,569. And then we take in ambulance fees as part of our revenue that covers about 2/3 of that. And the ambulance fees provide basically free ambulance for our residents because they aren't billed anything beyond what their insurance will pay. Pardon?
They send you a bill.
Well, they told me they don't, and if they do, they said,
They bill your
ignore it
insurance, but they
and don't
send
pay
it
it.
in, so.
That they send it because of insurance.
My wife got picked up right here and she got a bill, so
Well,
they send you a bill.
But they say not to pay it and they won't rebill.
But then our cost keeps going.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 25-532, an ordinance appropriately adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. With that, the motion carries.
Now we can talk tax rate. So the budget revenue that showed on,
So I didn't make a motion.
He made
No.
Did I click your name?
Yeah.
I can change it. It's just me. I was talking and doing
Well, I
it.
didn't say yes or no, so,
I said any opposed, and an abstention is a nay.
okay. Well, I was just thinking, so, that moved pretty quick, but, okay.
Did you want to go back?
No, we're good. I mean, I mean, it's already been said that people are having problems paying bills and stuff like that, but, no, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead with the tax rate.
I'm sorry.
I was telling Trish to go on with the tax rate.
okay.
Do you want me to read it out for the mayor?
Okay,
So this
so-
item is to discuss and consider ordinance 25-533, an ordinance adopting a tax rate and levying taxes for the use and support of the municipal government of the city of Richwood, Texas, and providing for the interest and sinking fund of the taxable year 2025. Okay.
So our record vote that we took last month, we're required by law to take a record vote that sets our ceiling. We took the record vote to set the rate that would be the voter approval rate, allowing 8% above what on properties that were on the tax roll last year. Just because that's legally the highest we could go, so that was .586493. But after our workshop, I was instructed to come up with a rate that would leave $100,000 bottom line on the general fund. So that rate is calculated at .557993, which, as you can see, would be slightly below the VAR 3.5%. It's just above the line. That dotted line was where we said we really didn't want to go below, and it's just above that. This is from last month before I had final figures, and so those general fund bottom line figures are not correct anymore, but.
So it's, we're slightly below the dotted line, but we're still bringing in
We're slightly above the dotted
Just
line.
lower.
We're at .557, and so we're on the dotted line.
We're on the dotted
So
line,
between
but the
these
dotted
two.
line is.
You mean one spot below the dotted line, essentially, as the
It's
figures?
up, yes.
We're between the .560 and the .555.
Yeah,
I didn't have that number on here because I calculated
You
it
did it
based
right
on
then.
yeah.
the bottom line desired,
But
so.
what I'm saying is the bottom line now, we're still going lower than the,
Voter
Yes.
approval.
which
Yes.
is up
Yes,
on the chart.
yes,
We're still going lower because of some of the stuff that you were able to,
yes,
the insurance and everything,
Yes.
so we're still beating the dotted line.
yes. We're s-
Yeah, it's
yeah.
great.
So we have 100,000, bottom line. Of course, that's just, budgets are a educated guess. You never can guess exactly what, to the penny, what you're gonna spend. But the budget as presented, projects $100,000 that will add to fund balance. So, of this rate, the M&O portion is .466352. That's the amount that goes into general fund to fund the operations of the city. .085,634 is our current debt rate. It's going up to .091641. That is determined based on our requirements to satisfy our debt for this year. So we have no say in that. That is what will bring in the money we need to make our debt payments. So the M&O is going to go up about $120,800. The debt will go up about $3,000. As you see on your agenda, this for a median priced home in Richwood is about $250,000. This will incur a $22.33 increase on a median home. So while it is an increase, it's not what it could be.
Per year, per month,
Per year.
Year,
per year, $22 a year.
yeah.
Yep.
On a median priced home of $250.
Till this time next year.
So,
And that's a big thing. I'm glad you brought that up, so it's understood, with the budget and the taxes, everybody sees, taxes are going up. And so taxes go up because, like we've had several discussions tonight over roads and rehabilitation and all this stuff. This pays for that.
Yes.
This also pays for a hurricane coming through and us having to clean up and things like
Yes.
that. Richwood's not a big city.
Right,
I get it, this time of day, everybody's, hurting for money, this and that. Then like you said, the difference between a no new revenue and what we're proposing is $22.33 on a $250,000 house.
and median means there's as many houses
Yes.
over that or is that
Yes.
correct?
The total
So
increase.
to put our city in a position where we could, take another barrel.
Yes.
We can start putting, funds aside to be able to take care of these road conditions. The parks, I know we got parks coming up at some point. These different things that residents want, unfortunately, come at a cost. Our job up here is to mitigate that cost, but still try to give them what they're asking for.
And
And
legally, we
so I
could have
think that
gone,
that's a
right. And
good
legally,
job
we
on
could
your
have
part
gone to
finding
that
that number.
highest rate that we did as a record vote. One reason you do it, the highest rate for a record vote is to give you that wiggle room for further discussion.
yes.
And so it's very confusing. The state mandates the wording for that and how we have to do it. And it makes it look, when you see the notice in the paper, Richwood's raising their taxes that much.
Yeah.
It just protects us for our conversation. We
I
did
think-
not go near that.
I think you did exactly what we asked. I mean,
Mike, to the total impact if you want a total impact for water fee and the taxes, everything included, for a median income house, your total impact for the year is $56.
Okay.
That's all of it combined, $56.
So, you know, I tried to do what you guys wanted to do, and I hope you're satisfied with that number. And we'll go from there.
So I understand it's tough. It's tough on everybody. It really is. And I
You know, the city is subjected to inflation, just like the people are. And in some ways, some things hit us harder. Our insurance, we had a 59% increase a couple years ago, I think it was. Chemicals for the utilities have gone up in the last 5 years, 120-some%. You know, inflation is an average, but unfortunately, some of the things that we have to spend money on are well above that average. We are also, I feel, very blessed as a city that we have an excellent team of employees, and we try to keep them. Turnover costs cities money, you know, whether it be a police officer or a public works person or, you know, a city secretary. I mean, it costs money. So we try to give them the incentive to do well with the merit increases, and we try to keep up with the cost of living. We're still slightly behind over the last 5 years, but we're getting closer, so that our employees feel value. Anything else?
Trish, will you check that number and make sure it matches what you've given them? The rate here, if they choose to adopt the rate that we've been discussing.
Yes.
Okay.
So you just need a motion then?
You have to read
Yeah.
that. Yes, sir.
All right, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.557993, which is effectively a 4.1% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Stallberg, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Gerson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Fountain, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect, the motion carries.
Thank you all, and thanks for all your input during this budget process. Appreciate it.
Okay. See you back in March.
Do audit first.
I'm messing with you. We're going to move on to item D, discuss and consider adopting ordinance number 25-531, amending exceptions as adopted by ordinance number 18-428 to modify base usage and amend fees for recreational vehicle RV parks, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for a saving clause, and providing for an effective date.
Can you bring that up real quick?
Yes, sir.
So, Mayor, Council, we had two people want to bring this back up for discussion. And so what we did is we took the consensus of what was discussed last time for the new ordinance. So basically what we were told, or what we understood, was 1/2 times the variable rate for up to 700 gallons. I can't barely read that.
Per
but
unit.
That's okay. And to go on, but I think if we're, yeah, there you go.
Sorry. There you go.
I think this and the next go together. They tie in together. So I don't know how you want to discuss it, but
I'll start. That's fine. I've looked into this one quite a bit since our last meeting, and I did have I did not have all the information I needed before I opened my mouth last meeting, and I apologize for that. I'm the one that made the motion to reduce it from 100,000 to 35,000 gallons. You know, just going off of, well, they're gonna drop from this to this, then their water consumption also needs to drop. And actually, after seeing the study that Strand did, showing that this RV park has no weight on our pressure throughout the city, looking at the numbers and everything else, I actually think leaving it at where it is, which is the half rate for 100,000 gallons, is actually beneficial to the city. And I can see why the previous council made this decision. And I've got it all broke down. I'd like to read y'all a couple numbers just so y'all can see where I came to my conclusion. I've got both water bills here for both parks. I can break either which down you want to hear, but I'll start with this one here because I've got it all wrote down. For their due date of September 20th, 2025, they used 14,849 gallons. At their half rate, and keep in mind these numbers are not exact, they're pretty close though, would equate to a $148 bill if they were to pay just that half rate. That's just for usage. So double that, gets you kind of close to what their bill would be, around $300. The average resident customer for that same bill would be $296 at the Ford. Was it $42 roughly for 2,000 gallons? The RV park though, if we were to reduce that to that 35,000 gallons that I proposed, which now I'm against after having all the information, would put their bill at $350 for the month. Now, on the other side of that, you know, with us doing tax rates and budgets and everything else and money, the agreed upon rate and usage that they did before the previous council, I agree with. They're paying the half rate for 100,000 gallons. That 100,000 gallons in water equates to $1,200 a month that they're paying. Once you take in the waste, the sewer and everything else, their bill they're paying is $2,202.82 a month. If we were to reduce this to the 35,000 gallons, you're effectively between each park going to be taking $1,500 a month away from the city. You do the math on that, that's $3,000 a month. That comes out to $36,000 a year that you're going to be stripping away from the city because you don't want to provide water to somebody. You talk about a premium, that is a premium. They're actually, when you take into an account off of both bills what both parks are using, they are paying 4 times what a resident in the city of Richwood pays, because they're using 14,800 gallons in this park, they're using 25,000 gallons in this park, but they're paying for 100,000 gallons per park. When you have all the numbers and you look at the math, it's kind of plain and clear why the council did what they did. I can agree with what they did. It does benefit the city. They are paying a premium. The water usage from that park weighs no merit on the system, I don't have it with me, but Strand, who did the study, if we were to cap that line, stop providing them water, nobody's water pressure is getting any better, nobody's going to get any more water, it's not going to change anything, it's just going to be the exact same as it is now, the city's just going to lose the money. What that correlates to, $36,000 a year less for the city. So when this time of year comes around next year for budget and taxes, we're going to have to make up that $36,000 that we just lost. Because right now, that money is factored into the enterprise fund, which goes into sealing streets, fixing streets, roadways, waters, all of that. So I know that residents have voiced their concerns. I've read them. I've talked to them. I get it. They're like, well, why aren't they? Actually, when you look at the numbers, they are paying a premium. They're paying a very high premium. I don't know any resident in the city of Richwood that would want to pay for 100,000 gallons and be using 15% of that amount of water. I mean, any logical way to look at that, I mean, it's beneficial. They're paying a premium. They're paying exactly what was expected of them. And I don't know. I don't see why you would want to cut that or get rid of that. It's going to hurt the residents overall because that money's going to have to be made up the next year. You're telling all these people, hey, go figure it out. Figure it out on your own. We're just going to cut it out. I mean, it's just, That is my opinion on it. I think it should stay just the way it is.
So what do we pay for maintenance yearly?
If, you're asking me?
I don't.
Oh.
Well, we have cost, Mr. Ramos requested it. Over the years, data that we had, we determined that there's one visit for repair. We have annual maintenance, which is flushing. Some valve stack relocation and maintenance. Less than 1% of the water overall use, that percentage applied to chemical costs. And some electricity account for about $2,900 a year in cost.
So 2,900 out of 36,000, you still got $33,000 you're
Well,
making.
and I want to state the electricity was something else I kicked in, but it's overinflated. We can only take that just less than 1% and apply it across the board. They're really responsible for lift station 4, the wells, water plants, but we can't isolate that, so I just took it so it was represented, but it's overinflated.
Okay. So it's actually not even 2,900, it's,
Yeah, it's probably close to 2,000 less.
so.
Just to understand.
Are you in agreement about the pressure and usage impact on the rest of the water system?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. The pressure, any issue felt by any resident is a distribution, an existing distribution problem, and it's not a service problem.
So they're paying, I want to understand it.
Yes.
It's, because the way I understood it when we talked about it was they're paying half a rate for X amount.
Yeah,
But if
they're
you
paying
go
half
over
rate.
it,
Yeah, so they're
then
paying
they
half
pay
rate
more,
right now, so they're paying roughly 21
They
some.
don't pay more.
What's that?
He was saying if they go over that,
Yeah.
do they pay more? No, they pay the variable rate.
Yeah, they pay the variable rate if they go over that, but they have 100,000 gallons they're paying for right now, whether they use it or not. So, like I said, right now, they're using, this park right here is using,
because I thought that's what we were saying, was like if we reduce.
but they're not gonna go over that. Like, I mean, if you look here,
You would have to reduce it to like 10,000 gallons or
Yes.
something like that.
They've gone over it
right here,
twice.
they're literally using
Gone over it
50.
twice when we had
Yeah.
major leaks,
Yeah.
one at
Yeah, I
each
remember,
park.
it rarely went like above, never went over 30.
Correct.
Yeah.
Staff's
So-
recommendation is just to, since they're paying half, to cut the
Yeah,
usage to
so-
half be allowed.
So
And then make
we're,
them pay for a premium for overages.
right
in
now,
fairness.
we would be taking, instead of $2,200 a month, they would roughly be paying $700 a month if we reduce that to that 35,000
Oh,
gallons.
because I see what you're saying.
Yes. Right now, they're paying for that full 100,000, even though they're only using 15%. So if you do the math on that, that is
Yeah.
a crazy premium they're paying, which was, I can see why they removed it from the 1.5
They
to the
set it up
half
similar to
rate.
the way BWA does.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Take it or leave it. Yeah.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
your rate.
Yes,
And what we
exactly.
had
So-
recommended last month was to leave them at the half rate because they aren't, and as I demonstrated, they're using maybe a quarter of it. But drop it to the 50,000 because that would be half, since they're paying a half rate, that would be half of.
No.
Yeah, but they would still
35.
lose money.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So-
now you
so-
can only bill them half rate at 50,000 gallons.
No,
Exactly.
we would bill them
Half
the
rate at
same
100,000.
that we currently bill them.
Yeah.
They would just be allowed less water before they reach that threshold to pay an overage.
Yeah.
We wouldn't,
So
by
when they
cutting
had
their
the leak-
usage, we're not changing their rate or what they pay us.
Or
We're
if
wanting
they
it to
got
be
to
fair
full
with what we give them.
occupancy.
Yeah, what he's saying though is the bill would go down though, because instead of paying for 100,000
The
gallons.
bill would be the same.
Yeah, it would
How?
be the same.
Because their
bill.
base rate would stay the same for less gallons. We wouldn't change how much they pay, we change how
They're
much they're
being billed
given.
on this.
Because right now, they're given the same amount as a resident who gets 2,000 gallons.
So then I must be misunderstanding this or something's wrong, because the math on this shows me that they're paying for 100,000 gallons a month.
Right,
So
that's
if-
2,000 gallons per unit, which is what every resident in Richwood gets.
If you
Correct, and
compare
At
if we
half the
change,
rate.
if we change that to 50,000.
They still pay that same rate, but get less water before they reach that threshold to pay over.
their
But if
rate-
they, but that's what I'm saying though, but if they don't ever reach that
We get the
50,000,
same amount of money we get now,
so
charging them for
you'd
100.
still have that 22.
But in the rare occurrence that they have a leak, or the rare occurrence that they're 100% full, and they might go over
Yeah,
that
use both of them.
50,000,
It's two
then we
different
would
ones.
get that.
This one uses
The premium,
50,000,
we were-
This one
Rate.
uses 25,000.
But right now, they're getting their water at half rate.
Mhm.
and getting full water.
So a house gets,
So you're saying full rate, but at a.
They're paying half the rate, so say the rate's $50, they're paying $25 for 2,000 gallons per unit. Whereas a resident's paying $50 for
Correct.
2,000 gallons per unit.
so we could cut it to where they're paying $25
For,
1,000.
right. But we
I
still
got
get the same amount of money, but once they reach that threshold, we
You
get a
make more out
premium
of it,
because
yeah.
they are out of the city
That's what I
limits.
thought.
Okay.
That's what staff is recommending. It doesn't change what we currently bring in on them. It just changes the threshold at which they are charged a premium for going over.
Okay,
But you are correct that we are
But yes.
making money every month.
yeah, I mean,
Cutting-
quite
yes.
a
And even
bit.
at 50, they're still using 14,
Yes.
15. It's still, they're paying for more than they're using.
Yes,
So your whole premise is still spot on with staff's opinion.
yes.
So what's the final, what do we want to drop it to, 50,000?
Yeah, the half at the 50,000 mark.
Okay.
Anything over the 50,000,
You pay the,
is that am I wording correct on that, Kirsten?
Let me amend this ordinance here live so we can,
Okay.
so it's transparent. Because what I have presented is the 35.
And one thing I do want to know, every year, I've adjusted the water and sewer rates by a percentage, which when I started here, well, a month ago, I didn't know about the half rate and all that. So their rate right now is actually higher than it would be at 50 times the half rate. So I need guidance on if we want this to start next October 1st, or if we start it now, and their rate will go down
This October
slightly
1st.
now.
Yeah, it'd start now.
So I've amended from 700, that was originally presented in this ordinance, to 1,000, which at 50 units is the 50,000 gallons, what they would be billed, which is what they're currently billed. And then it says any usage above that threshold, they'll be charged at 1.5 times the variable rate, which is, will slide every year or whenever we do rate adjustments.
Before we make any motion on this, I want our residents to be well aware of my stance on this. My focus and goal of being mayor of Richwood is to take care of our residents, not to make money on people we're selling water to. So with my stance on this, I don't care what we can make on this water. I would rather our residents have the best impactful solution on water that we can, no matter if you have a 1,000-yard run, a 10-yard run, or whatever. And RV Park is not in my, it's not my basket of a goal to go make money off of, per se, okay? So I would rather see our residents that sit here and make up this crowd and that live in the city get the best water they can without jeopardizing or even having the thought of jeopardizing that. So my stance is, I was one of the few that put my foot against this because we have such troubling water issues, and it's been ongoing for months. I don't want to see us continue to sell water to anybody outside of Richwood until we can sustain all of our residents, and then we can go from there. So that's my stance on this. Council can
agree
do
with
what they
you.
want.
I agree with you on taking care of residents, and that's why I wholeheartedly disagree with you on getting rid of it, because getting rid of it does not benefit a single person. It's been done in a study, it's been shown. The pressure nowhere in the city will change at all, period. What you're going to do though is take that money from the budget, you're gonna strip that out, and then come next year, you're gonna have to sit up here and say, well, we're gonna raise taxes even more. We lost $36,000 that we had before. So I understand what you're saying about the water pressure 100%, but in this specific instance where studies have been done, it weighs no merit. It weighs zero at all. Whether we cap that line or keep it open, pressure is going to be the same at every resident in this city.
I appreciate your input,
The
sir.
difference is we are going to be affecting funding, which does directly impact the residents, because that is for the city of Richwood, that is a large, the 36,000 is not total what comes in for the year. That is what the city will get. So that is a large chunk of money that next year you're going to tell the residents, hey, I didn't want an RV park for no reason whatsoever, weighed no merit, but I took the money out, so now we gotta take more money from you. That's the way I'm looking at it.
So I don't want the residents to understand that we have to ask for money when we don't have the capacity to fulfill their water request either, because we're distributing water away. That's my stance. Money is not, I'm not trying to make money here as a city by selling the water, is what I'm getting at. So that's all I'm saying. I understand Will's standpoint, and that is my viewpoint, so.
Isn't the RV park gonna either pay rent or water fees, whatever they're, I mean, are they unhappy about this extra water they're?
No, they haven't said anything.
complaints.
What we're saying is, I don't want to see our city utilities go outside of our city.
But I think what should be known is none of this happened with these people you see here.
No.
Then the problem is the water rate says one thing, it's getting another. I think we've got that cleaned up. What bothers me the most is if we cap those lines,
It's gonna cost.
it's in a text dot right away. You have two choices. When you cap a line, you can fill it with something or you have to remove it. One of those lines is a sewer line. And if text dot says that's got to get pulled, that's a cost we incur.
Which comes out of the enterprise.
Which comes out of the enterprise fund, which
Increases
is,
the water bill.
these numbers are small. So that's my concern.
Yes.
So right now, and again, I said it last time, why would you take a revenue source? And I agree with Paul. Paul said, let's do a study. We did the study. Hey, if it showed great improvement, yeah, do whatever you got to do, but no improvement. But you're taking a revenue source and doing away with it to an extreme liability. And then if you don't pull the lines, if they stay in the lines, if you abandon them, so to speak, you own those lines and any problem they cause forever. And it's right under a bayou. If that sewer line ever leaks, who knows?
It's a double-edged sword here, guys.
Yes.
This is what makes
I got a
council.
question. Were these, were the RV parks built, before or after we provide water for them? Or were they built contingent on us providing water for them?
I believe they were built before.
I think they're already there.
So what would they do for water if we cut water off?
Have to do a water well
And septic,
and septic.
unless you decide to take the wastewater and not.
If they can even do that, they would have to get approval from
Yeah, I'm just saying,
TCEQ for
you know, by just capping it off, we're gonna impact a bunch of people.
That's actually not the next item.
Yeah, we're gonna strip water from people that.
I can see not providing it to anybody else, and I think we've done that.
Yes.
So do you mean to?
Yeah, we've done that. There was one of them up the road wanted to use our sewer, and we said no because exactly what you're talking about, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to impact people who are living there today, and then tomorrow they don't have any water or sewer, and they're scrambling. That's my
It was
stance.
put in our laps is the biggest problem. Now we have to decide fate, but do we have any action on,
This is just on the fees.
On D.
The next item is discussing what we're
Yeah,
currently
what do you-
discussing.
What do you need me to read? I'll make a motion.
This.
I know you updated it.
Can we charge them the maintenance too? Make some more money?
Our water rates are
Maintenance is
include the
built in.
maintenance.
Included.
This right here. Well,
Okay, I make a motion,
start here with adopt.
I can't see it.
To adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Oh, motion, you said adopt. I thought you said adopt.
Oh, no.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 25-531,
I'm sorry.
amending exceptions as adopted by ordinance number 18-428 to modify base usage and amend fees for recreational vehicle RV parks, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for a saving clause, and providing for an effective date.
I'll second.
okay, Councilmember Stallberg, how do you vote?
You know, guess somebody will jump on board with everybody else and vote yay or yes or.
Councilmember Johnson?
Aye.
Councilmember Yerson?
Aye.
Councilmember Fountain?
Aye.
Okay, let the record reflect the motion carries. Okay, E, discussion and possible action to call for a public hearing to consider whether the city should continue providing water and sewer service to an RV park located outside the city limits, which is the second half of this.
So we put this on the agenda because legal has advised us that if the discussion does want to move further, we set the rate, which is good for now, but if council does want to look into the possibility of terminating service to this RV park, it's in our best interest to hold public hearing, which would require public notice to the newspaper and anyone, I don't know, we don't have anybody within 200 feet of it, but to anyone that would be interested in this issue, which would include the RV park. At this point, we have not made contact with them. This is when we would make contact and advise them of what's going on. So we wanted to put both action items on the agenda to give both sides of this argument the ability to take some action. So even though we adopted the new rates, public hearing can still be held to look into this further should a motion move forward.
I would like to say that I agree with all of y'all up here. In this specific instance, with the study that's done, this RV park, or both of them, not weighing any merit on our system. That is why I think that we should leave it as it is. It does help the city, it does benefit. Now, you know, the issue has always been raised about infrastructure in the city. Does our water system, you know, is it adequate enough to sustain growth? Is it adequate enough to sustain, you know, who's here, everything else, the whole 9 yards? And I hear that and understand that. I'm very for not taking water outside the city beyond this point. I think that, you know, at this point in time, you know, if there are issues or concerns with the residents, by all means, you know, address those. But this specific situation with these RV parks, I don't see them weighing any merit, especially after the studies, on it benefiting the city in any way to get rid of them. And that's just my opinion.
What do we think about putting on a yearly checkup kind of thing, see if we want to continue doing this as Richwood grows?
I don't see a problem with that.
I mean, I'm fine. I mean, would it be hard to do a study once a year, like we just did, to see what it
Depends on the.
I don't want it to cost us.
Depends on the cost.
That's what I'm asking.
That was just a discussion item.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Cliff
fine.
stays very alert to use,
So-
connections and
And-
how
and
close
also-
they are.
Council can choose to do whatever they want, but the amount of connections out there are less than 1 PSI impact. They're gonna continue to be less than 1 PSI impact, but the development within the city is gonna bear down on the city. But it's not the service of the extension of the line. It's the distribution main trunk lines. So we're looking in the wrong place. It's not gonna be the impact that's gonna change the world.
But I
The
think Craig Dennis,
$2.1 million that I need to replace the main trunk lines, that's gonna make an impact.
That's what's gonna bring pressure to Oakwood Shores.
Why didn't you ask for that when we did the budget a while ago?
You already
I
got
would be
this.
correct in saying that also what we need to increase the pressure is you have to get a new tower, right? I know we did studies, it's been several years. And
Well, yeah, you can increase static pressure by stacking your water vertically.
Yeah,
But right now, you're not effectively distributing
it won't
that
help
water-
because of the trunk line.
distributing that water because the trunk lines are too small for the amount of area that we serve. That's why we see the impacts on the far sides of distribution. The further it travels from elevated storage, the more friction loss it experiences, the worse the pressure gets.
And I think
So
that's the
system
important,
needs work.
yeah, and we know the system needs work, and I think that's the important part is that, okay, yeah, it's gonna cost, probably by the time we get to it, it'll be like 2.5 million, you know.
Yeah, it was 2018 cost,
Yeah.
like 3.5.
So it's probably like 3 million now, so. But if you take, again, not trying to say we're making revenue, but all of that money has to come out of enterprise fund to do that, right?
Or bonds.
Or bonds, yeah, one or the other.
Loans.
So if you take away any money, that's just that much more money you have to come up with.
But do they pay into that,
We try to run a flat budget, we're gonna need to make it up somewhere.
Yeah,
or do the citizens of Richwood pay for that?
If it's a utility bond, it'll be added to the rate.
to the, the water.
It's not attached to the tax rate.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike,
No, I'm wondering if, since they're outside of the city, are they gonna be responsible for any of this upgrade stuff? Or is it just gonna be charged to our citizens?
No, well, it would be,
yeah,
it depends on how you do it. So if you went out for a
Legally,
bond.
let's do it
yeah,
legally.
It's on the rate, it's on the
Well,
utility
that's what I
rate.
mean, if you did a bond, that's different, but it still all, I think, goes under the enterprise fund, right? Even if you do
Yeah,
a bond.
regardless, it's gonna be reflected in the water bills.
In the water bill,
They're gonna
right.
see it just like everybody else sees it.
But,
So
yeah,
they would see it too.
it would be on the
And
tax
that's,
rate.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that's in essence why when Tricia kept increasing their water bill, that's what brought all this to the front.
Right.
You know, they get the same fee passed down. But I understand what's being said here, though. I think Paul is looking for protection in checking once a year to see if they have an exorbitant fee in there that we can recoup those somehow. It's your water. Let's be clear. You can charge what you want. So, yes, if you want to charge a fee or whatever the case may be, make a motion, we'll do it.
And my take on the situation is that if we want to look at it annually, let's start looking at what we can do to improve the system now to do exactly what you guys are referring to up the pressure. Because I got it in a capital improvements project list that's ready to go.
That's a great idea. Match with what you want yearly, have him get that done, and if we need to increase rates or fluctuate that, you can pull it.
But I
from there.
also want council to be able to cut them off if we get close to our limit and we need that
You
water.
mean like, oh, yeah.
That's
If
what the
we're reaching
annual
our
review is
cap.
gonna allow for.
Because
What's that?
compliance
That's
is
what the
based on
annual
compliance,
review will
not
allow for.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to do a different type of review. I want
It's the same, it's the
Specifically.
same review. I mean,
Okay.
it's the same, we'd have to go through the same process. We'd have to still, it'd be at least a 2-month process to get a hearing set, but
I'm sure there's
council
other
could
questions
do that at
that
any point.
citizens may have, but
Mhm.
this is what we have for everybody. So, thank you, Cliff.
Yes, sir.
So that was just a discussion.
It could be an action item. I mean, it's an action item if anybody wants to make a motion to call for the public hearing.
But which we don't need one, essentially.
That's why I was saying it was just a discussion.
There's no motions made.
No. Okay, items removed from consent agenda,
None.
which were none. No beautiful executive session. Wasting City Inc. there.
This new legislative deadline's got me in a tizzy, sorry.
Okay, capital improvements projects update.
Okay, so the mid-mod project is getting close to being done. They're fixing to start on the last phase of paving. We're still looking at the end of September for substantial completion. Cypress Drive, Misty Court, construction's ongoing. They finished off all the grading on ditches and finished the driveways as of today. Street construction is anticipated to start in the next couple of weeks. Of course, Streets Master Plan, you heard it all tonight. I did want to make mention that some of the numbers that council saw tonight, based on the crack ceiling estimates, and we have some ideas that might interest council as far as putting those together and possibly contingency funded item for the future to help us at least get up to par, just with maintenance, so we can get our bearing about us. But it's a lot better now than what it was prior to the bond, so we're still doing okay. The City Parks Master Plan, Mr. Engelke will be back next month to present the findings of the Parks Master Plan. I'm opening that up for discussion. Now, on-call engineering, your amended capacity requirement, according to the application, would be lowered from 0.6 gallons per minute to, I think, 3.5. So the action level that you currently are at with water production should go away if TCEQ grants that. We have 100 days. If they don't respond within that time, it's an automatic approval. So we hope that happens, and it'll give council a little bit more time to figure out where we're going to get more water, or how we want to get more water, because we are going to need it.
And if they don't approve, you've got to figure out how to get below the 80% threshold, right?
85th percentile.
85th.
Yeah. And the CDBG project, the Cedar Street water main replacement, we've got advertisements that started. The bid opening's anticipated for the end of this month, and then anticipated award at the October council meeting. That's all I have.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
That somebody had asked me.
Mhm.
I know you guys flush the hydrants in our neighborhood quite often.
Yes.
Is there a way for them to maximize their time out there rather than sit at each one for however long they have to? Like, let's say they make their round, open them all up,
Yes.
and then,
No, you can't do that. We can't open them all up. We have to do it one hydrant at a time because we have to maintain 35 PSI of operating
Okay.
pressure within distribution. I have displayed, I think in past discussions, the distribution pressure when we are and are not flushing a single hydrant. And out there you do see about a 5 PSI fluctuation. Once we open more than one hydrant, we start getting
I
into the
just
dangerous area.
need to give them an answer, because they said, wouldn't it make more sense to go open them all and then go spend another few
pressure
hours?
just
You wouldn't
goes
have
to
drop.
zero.
No, I get it,
You wouldn't have
Hey,
drop.
One of the things we had
I
looked
wanna
at
give them that answer.
a couple of years ago to go on with that is automatic valves that do it per time, so you could set it and forget it. Cliff brought up a unique point, though. You need to kind of put eyes on it to make sure it's opening and doing what it's supposed to do, but we might revisit that and see what the costs are now. I'm sure
They're higher.
Yeah, they're higher now, so.
You're probably 15 grand a station. The
Yeah.
thing with Oakwood Shores, until we get enough natural demand out there due to construction, we have to walk that water down from the front all the way to the back.
Yeah.
So we flushed 20 different points. We might be able to cut that into 15, but at about 15 grand per station, you have to have power if it's to be automatic.
Yeah, no.
So
Never mind.
No, I'm
you're
not
looking
trying to
at
incur more money, I just asked
$250,000
about
investment.
that.
I was gonna say, that's 225,000 right there, and
Yeah.
add the power, that's more.
Well, I mean, over the years, y'all have far more invested that in maintenance, in man hours doing it, but it's not the initial cost that we all hate to see, so.
It's merely
just
to
bear it.
maintain pressure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Cliff.
Is the water meter working? The modem or whatever fixed?
No, never will be, don't worry. Your bill will
Yeah, hopefully we'll
fluctuate.
see it this week. It is a special order. Hopefully we'll see it this week and have that problem worked. But we did, the
I
weekend
saw the guys
review,
in
so
the
we can
neighborhood.
stay on
I got manual.
schedule.
Thankfully, all the public works guys came in this weekend with the manual reads.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Eric, I believe city manager report?
Everything's the same except for, thanks for stealing my thunder, I was gonna update you on the manual reads. That's all I've got.
That was a public work.
Yeah. I stole it from
Councilmember
Cliff.
Starbird, do you have anything to add?
I'm glad that the speed trailer is going, because that thing scares the bejesus out of me every time the red and blues come on when I'm driving by. I'm just kidding. Hopefully I'll get a new one, chief. I was kind of sad to see the skid marks over there the other day. Trish, everybody, thanks for the work on the budget. I know in the short time I've been up here, it's a lot to digest, it really is. And I hate seeing taxes raised for anybody, especially like Mr. Challenger showed up over here. You know, there's people that are struggling. I mean, it's just, it is what it is right now. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We need water, we need electricity. Centerpoint was here, I thank them for coming out. Yeah, I mean, with that being said, if you don't have my phone number or you want my phone number, feel free to reach out to me tonight here. And if you ever have a discussion with me on anything I might stay up late at night doing, feel free to reach out to me. Like man to man or woman to woman or whatever.
Woman to woman.
It's 2025, okay?
Thank you,
That's it.
Councilmember Stallberg, whatever you identify as. Councilmember Johnson, do you have anything to add?
I just want to say thanks for all the people that showed up tonight. It's an important topic, and it's important people hear it. And there was a lot of rumors going around about 8%. I think that we settled that tonight. And we're going forward, maintaining the city. And Val 22 next Saturday at Lake Jackson has a great cause. I know people who have benefited from their organization. Come out and walk 4 miles, or at least eat a hot dog. So it'll be a good time.
This Saturday, correct?
This Saturday.
This Saturday, okay.
Yeah.
13th.
I think the walk kicks off at like 9 or 10. It starts at 8, but the
Okay.
walk kicks off later. They have an opening ceremony and everything. It's very good.
Okay.
Appreciate the city taking action on that. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Garrison?
Yeah. It's not always the easiest thing to deal with the budget and taxes and everything like that. The staff does a very, very good job, I think, trying to minimize the impact as much as they can. It's just one of those things that it's once a year, we have to deal with it, you know. It's not like everybody sits up here and just says, hey, you know, takes it from the residents and doesn't pay it themselves. I mean, so it's looked at very carefully. It's not taken lightly. All of us up here may not always agree on everything, but that's why there's so many of us up here to try to make the best decision possible for the city and the residents. Y'all showing up, speaking, you know, that helps make our decisions a little easier because we're up here to represent y'all. We're up here to represent what y'all would like to see happen in the city that y'all live in. You know, without y'all, the city doesn't exist. So I appreciate y'all showing up, speaking. I don't think there's a single person up here that tries to do anything with malice. I mean, everything is with the best of intent and to try to make life in the city a little bit better.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Fountain?
Just kind of reiterate what everyone has said. Thank you to the staff and everyone that's been involved in the budget. It definitely is tough. This was actually the first time I sat on council. I've been doing it for 3 years, 3 years, something like that. We were lucky enough that the tax rate went down. So this was kind of a little different feel and really studied it hard, tried to find out, you know, what we can do, where we can avoid certain things and not go as high as what we thought we may have to. It's a tough decision. I know everyone is struggling, and it's. I wish there was an easier way to do it. You know, I wish there was, but it kind of is. I hate to say that it is what it is, but that's not a terrible thing to say. I lost what I wanted to say, but I don't want anyone to think like we don't spend the time with it. I mean, I think everyone up here really looks at it for a long time and tries to find the best way to keep the city going at the most efficient and economical way. If there's any consolation, we're doing a lot better than some of the other folks around us. So there were some other cities that they're hurting very, very bad. So I know it didn't really help, but that's kind of it, I guess.
That's all. Thank you, sir. I don't have much to add. Thank goodness Mother Nature is giving us a break for a minute. It's been scorching, just for a minute, not for a long period of time. Yes, as they all said, this budget process is very difficult because it seems like each and every one of us has something to pick at, and she's the pincushion who has to answer to everything. So thank you for still having her at the end of the process again and answering all of our questions. Staff, thank you guys. Thank you for a good discussion, and thank you all for showing up. Please attend more of these because we like seeing faces. It gets boring seeing just chairs. So. That's all I have. Do we have any community interest items?
I have a few. KRB meets tomorrow. They're in desperate need of help. People to serve on the board. We couldn't meet last week because we didn't have enough people to show up. One person needed to miss and we had to cancel our meeting. So that's really hard when you need a quorum, such as we do here. It's similar for that board. So they're in desperate need of help. Even if it's just a once a month attendance to a meeting and giving inputs and ideas. If you can't make every cleanup, it's okay. We just need some help. Or if you can only make cleanups, come for that also. So we meet tomorrow right here, 6 p.m. So we want to invite the public for a sit and see, just come sit and just watch a meeting, see how it goes and see what they discuss if it interests you. Next, I have National Night Out is on October 2nd. It's the first Tuesday of October. It's going to be at Ellis Park, 6 p.m. Come out, meet your first responders, your city staff, and PRB will be there also. Chief, do you have any information on it or anything you want to give? No? Okay. It's good fellowship, food, and fun. So, lastly, Trunk or Treat is tentatively scheduled for October 24th. I'm trying to get it out there before other cities do so they don't take my day. But it'll be the Friday before Halloween. We'll be at Ellis Park for Trunk or Treat. We will have a sign-up sheet go out here soon, probably this week, to sign up to participate if you want to decorate a trunk and participate. It's always a great event. That'll be at 6 p.m., usually in the road in front of Ellis Park. Weather dependent. We'll see how that goes. That's all I have.
Are you looking for candy donations?
If you want to bring candy by, we'll take candy too. If you can't,
Okay.
can't have a
November
truck.
1st is when they're accepting those.
Nope, that's when it goes to military moms and wives.
Right.
We've had large ant problems at City Hall due to this.
Not in my office. My candy does
I
not
was gonna
stay.
say, I've never
It's
seen
gone in
these around.
hours.
And our
It's not because of me, because I can't eat much.
Is that why the candy tasted like Raid?
Yeah.
how are our donation bins still looking? No mattresses?
Yes.
There
I
are?
haven't seen
Yes.
anything, but I've seen them full, but they empty them pretty quickly.
Chief was with me. We see them pretty regular, but they disappear, so we're fine.
They're very responsive on cleaning it up. I don't know if it's Public Works.
What are you doing with all those, Cliff?
He sleeps well.
Sleeps in the warehouse.
It's donations for EOC hurricane.
Okay, so the only future agenda item was our deal about the park.
Parks.
Parks master plan.
I don't know what else comes in October. I don't know. Nope, that's the month we all can breathe, so,
I don't know.
I haven't been thinking beyond tonight.
yeah. Something will come up.
I got a feeling there's about to be vacation time taken by a lot of these people.
Good night.
Okay.
You sound just like him.
You heard him.
I'll second that.
I'll say he needs a majority vote on that.
Time being 8:07, with no other items to discuss, this meeting is adjourned.